Good morning, scholars. I'm going to do a quick demo to sort of help you get started with your comics. Since we're doing a lot of testing this week, but some of you are finishing your tests early, I figured I'd upload this video so you weren't just left in the dark with the beginning of your comics. So I'm going to transfer to my document camera. And I'm going to give you guys some suggestions for starting. So if all you have at home is a sheet of filler paper or a small size paper like this, that's totally fine. You can definitely put your whole comic on this size paper. What I would suggest to you is that because you have to do 6 drawings, if all you have is small paper, maybe you just want to do 3 drawings on one sheet or 4 and 2 on another. You have to decide what's the right size for you for your panels. You also get to decide if you want your comic to be on a sheet of paper like this vertical, or if you want it to be horizontal. It's totally up to you, right? So I'm going to try starting this one horizontal, and I'm going to give you some tips for laying out your panels. You can use a ruler if you want. You can also take another spare sheet of paper and you can fold it to the size of your panels, right? So I'm going to fold this scrap piece of paper into the size of a rectangle, a small rectangle, so that 4 of these will fit on one sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper. So I'm just folding it until it's the size that I want it to be. So let's say I want to do 2, and your panels do not have to all be the same size. If you want them to all be the same size, a really easy way to do it is to just fold your sheet of paper, right? And then you can draw the lines where the crease is. But I actually want to put 3 panels on this sheet of paper, and I want them to all be a little different in size. So I'm going to start with this rectangle that I made with my extra sheet of paper, and make sure to leave room for your name and the title somewhere at the top, right? And then you can very simply just trace. You might want to use pencil. I'm using a permanent marker so you can see what I'm doing in the video. And then if it didn't connect your corners, you can do that pretty easily. So I have my first panel is going to be a long rectangle. Let's see, for my second panel, maybe I want it to be a long, skinny rectangle. So I'm going to fold my sheet of paper again. And I'm going to make a long, skinny rectangle. Now, I'm going to make it butt up against the other one, but it's up to you if you want to give it some space on your sheet of paper. You could put space between the panels. That's totally up to you. You get to design and lay out your comic. So I wanted to make a long, skinny panel so that I could put another box down here where there's going to be text. Now, you have to decide how you're going to tell your story. Are you going to tell your story with pictures only? If so, that's fine. Are people going to be able to tell what's going on just by the pictures? If so, no worries. You don't have to have any words. Maybe you have some dialogue. Some characters are talking to each other. So you need speech bubbles. That's fine too. I'm going to use this box down here for like a little narrator. So it could be like the next day. He went on his first mission. And it went terribly. ... So that's where I'm putting a little part of the story. Now I want my other panel, my third panel on this page, to be another long rectangle. Since I already have this line drawn, I'm just going to use my ruler. If you don't have a ruler at home, you can use the edge of a book Just be careful not to get marker on your book or pencil. Anything with a straight edge will work. Even another sheet of paper, even though that can be a little difficult sometimes. And I'm going to bring it all the way down. And my last panel is going to be a big rectangle, right? And then you can write the title at the top, right? Then your name. If you want to use fancy handwriting, that's fine. It's totally up to you. And then once you have your panels all set up, so I have 3 on this page, then you're going to want to start drawing your comic. I suggest you start with pencil very, very lightly. So maybe I'm drawing my character standing here. See how you can't even see it on the paper. It's so light because you might go back and erase. So draw lightly first and then go back and make it darker later. And obviously coloring it would be last, or if you want to ink it, if you want to take a pen or a marker and outline it, you would also do that kind of last, right? So this is a great way to begin. You get to decide what you want the shape of your panels to look like. Maybe you do this and then you decide you want there to be one that's not a rectangle. So my ruler is not long enough. So I'm just going to use an extra sheet of paper, and I'm going to connect these 2 corners here so you can see what I'm doing, because I want to make this panel be like a triangle. Oops. Like I said, paper is a little flimsy. Sometimes it's hard. Morning. Right. So then now I have 4 panels on this one. And maybe you have, action going on here. Something like that. Boom. I don't know. Something exploded. And maybe on the other side, it's like your character's face and he's shocked, right? Oh no, right? Or maybe this is a victim of whatever just happened. A close-up, right? So you could do something like that. Then there's 2 drawings, right? So I hope this helps you get started. If you do have a piece of big paper at home, that could be great too, to put all 6 of your drawings onto one sheet of big paper. That could be great. But if not, don't worry if you have to use a couple sheets of paper. One thing I would suggest against doing, but it's okay if you want to do it this way, is putting all 6 of your drawings on one sheet of paper. The reason why, and you might think making it bigger is making it harder, but actually the smaller you make your panels, the more difficult it's going to be to draw. And the reason is because when you're drawing really small, it's hard to get detail. So you saw how easy it was for me to draw this face. It's because I drew it really big. Now imagine if you just have 6 panels all on one sheet of paper. No, we're still testing today. I'm uploading a video that's gonna help you get started. I'm making the video right now, okay? So the reason why I suggest making your panels bigger is that it's easier to draw bigger than it is to draw tiny. So if you're trying to draw like a lot going on in one tiny box, you're gonna end up with a small face, right? Let's say this guy has crazy wings or something. It's gonna be harder for you to get the detail you want with a small face. So that's just something to keep in mind. But you can do it however you like. If you want to put all 6 on one sheet of paper, that's fine. Make sure you leave room for a title and your name. And I'll leave it up to you guys if you want to color some of it or all of it, or if you want to leave it black and white. That's going to be up to you. So have fun getting started. Feel free to use private comments to ask me any questions. And I hope this was helpful. Also, good luck testing, and feel free to stop by if you're in the school and you need any art materials for your comic. If you finish testing, feel free to stop by. All right, see you guys later.